Would you believe that Russia and Ukraine have extended their conflict onto African soil, and in so doing perpetuated Africa's proxy war vulnerability? On July 27th, a significant clash occurred near Tin Zawatin, a town on the Mali-Algeria border. A convoy of Malian army, accompanied by Russian Wagner Group mercenaries, was ambushed by pro-independence rebels from the Strategic Framework for Defense of the People of Azawad. The outcome was devastating for Wagner, with reports suggesting that around 50 paramilitaries were killed and 2 captured. What makes this incident particularly noteworthy is the alleged involvement of Ukrainian intelligence. Andriy Yusov, a spokesman for Ukraine's military intelligence service, claimed collaboration with the Malian rebels. He said that Ukraine provided useful information that contributed to the operation's success. This statement unveils a troubling reality. Ukraine is actively engaging in African conflicts as an extension of its war against Russia. That's unacceptable. It speaks to an egocentric move on the part of Ukraine, a move preoccupied with Russia, irrespective of Malian casualties. That's unacceptable. The proxy war isn't limited to Mali, though. In Sudan, Russian mercenaries continue supporting the Rapid Support Forces, led by General Mohammed Hamdan Dagalo. That is unacceptable. RSF continues committing a genocide against the people of Sudan. So for Russian mercenaries to continue supporting them says a lot. Either the Russian government is powerless to stop these mercenaries from supporting RSF, condones their behavior, or supports them. Russia, we demand that you take decisive action to stop the Wagner Group from supporting RSF. And to fellow Africans who will be quick to conclude that calling out Russia means pro-West, understand this, that we must be preoccupied with being pro-Africa. Anyone who supports or condones the genocidal RSF must be called out and condemned. That's why we condemned USA at the beginning of the Sudan war, when they seemed to be aligning themselves with RSF. And just for the records, the Sudanese army is also guilty of perpetuating the war in Sudan. They also have their Western and non-Western backers. We must call them out too. Back to Ukraine. The cooperation between Ukrainian intelligence and African rebel groups goes beyond information sharing. Reports indicate that Ukrainian special forces have trained Malian rebels in the use of small homemade explosive drones, a tactic familiar from the Ukrainian-Russian conflict. This transfer of technology and tactics introduces a new dangerous element to African conflicts. If innocent Malians die because of this, their blood will be on your hands, Ukraine. While these foreign interventions may serve the strategic interests of Russia, Ukraine, USA, UAE, and other foreign entities, they come at a tremendous cost for African nations, African people. Mali and Sudan are caught in the crossfire of a larger geopolitical struggle, with local populations bearing the brunt of increased violence and instability. The presence of Wagner Group in Mali, while ostensibly supporting the military government against internal threats, ultimately perpetuates Mali's military weakness and entangles the country in a proxy war that undermines its security. It's clear that outsourcing African security to foreign entities, whether to the Wagner Group, whether to alliances with Ukrainian intelligence or Western intelligence, is not a sustainable solution for Africa's security. Instead, it's time for a paradigm shift in the way that Africa approaches its security challenges. We must develop a well-equipped, modern African army capable of defending our interests from external aggression and internal strife. These Pan-African forces would serve as a bulwark against foreign interference and help break the cycle of proxy wars that have plagued the continent for too long. Key steps towards this goal include having systematic national and continental conversations on this matter, development of a unified African security doctrine, investment in military technology and training programs, developing and implementing a plan to actualize a Pan-African army and a Pan-African intelligence entity, The situations in Mali and Sudan serve as a stark reminder of the dangers of allowing foreign powers to dictate African security. It's time for Ukraine to withdraw from Mali, for Russia to exit Sudan, for USA, France, and Britain to exit their military bases in Africa, and for African nations to unite in creating a robust, independent security framework. This is not just about ending current conflicts. It's about preventing future proxy wars and ensuring that Africa's destiny remains in African hands. The path forward may be challenging, but it's a necessary journey for the long-term stability and prosperity of the continent. African leaders, policymakers, and citizens, we must come together to make this vision a reality. It's time for Africa to reclaim its security narrative and build a united front against external manipulation.